Hey, what is going on? Welcome to this very special ship breakdown where we look at the new ships in the new update and what they mean for you. Okay, so we do have some new ships right here. We do have the D3 class, Interceptor. We do have a Legionary Class, which is a battleship. And we do have the Mayflower, which is an explorer. So these are all really great. These are all great ships. And I just want to kind of explain, what they do and what they mean for your game. So first of all, we're going to look at the D3 class, which is a Klingon interceptor. Now, the Klingons don't usually do interceptors, but this is an exception. Okay, so the D3 class, just like the D4, this ship has two weapons. So they are very big, heavy, double shooting kinetic weapons. And yeah, so remember kinetic weapons right here. So they're set up to shoot incandescence. So that means that every round the ship can fire only one of its weapons. So keep that in mind. It can only fire one of its weapons. So these weapons, just like the D4, have a higher than average critical chance, but hit at a lower critical hit damage. So this means the more critical hits you have, but it's kind of less of a bonus right there. So you can use these ships, you can use the D3 class to your advantage by using officers that improve the critical hit damage or chance, or by having officers that work well with kinetic weapons. So remember, this is an interceptor class, and remember the battleship triangle, interceptor beats battleship. So this will beat battleships out there for you. There is a special thing with this ship. It does 30% more damage against Romulan ships, so keep that in mind. It does very well against battleships and Romulan ships. However, it is very weak against the Mayflower, which is a Federation ship, and of course other explorers. So remember, the explorer beats the interceptor. And let's just take a look at some of the officers who are good with kinetic weapons and who you might find useful on the bridge of the D3 class. So we do have Velkay Beata. So he is very good at kinetic weapons right here. Let's just take a look here. And we do have, of course, Vartok. Let's just take a look at Vartok here. And of course, we do have Gonzalez. Let's just take a look at Gonzalez here. And we do have Koth. Let's just take a look at Koth here. And we do have Kla. Let's just take a look at Kla here. And we do have Kurla. Let's just take a look at Kurla here. And last but not least, we have Gokon. Let's just take a look at Gokon right here. Alright, so next up, let's take a look at the Legionary Class battleship. So this is Romulan, and let's just take a look here. So remember that battleships beat explorers. However, keep in mind that interceptors beat battleships. So this is something to keep in mind. And let's just take a look at this ship more closely. So the Legionary, just like the Augur, has two small double-shot energy weapons. So remember, energy weapons, and one very large kinetic weapon. So this has both energy and kinetic weapons. So keep that in mind. The kinetic weapon only shoots every 3 rounds. So keep that in mind. The big kinetic weapon has a higher than average damage output to compensate for its very low loading and reloading rate. So keep this in mind. This was at the cost of potential critical rates. So, the critical hit chance and rate are quite low, but the outright damage is more than enough to compensate, so keep that in mind. So this is the battleship. It is kind of slow moving, but it does very good damage. So you can use this to your advantage by using officers that boost the ship's hull and shield health. So let's just take a look at it more closely. So this is the battleship class. It does 30% more damage against Federation ships. That's really good. However, keep in mind it is weak against the D3 class, the Klingons, and other interceptors. So let's just take a look at some of the officers which deal in critical hit chance and damage. So we do have Beta, and next we have Vartok, and next we have Gonzalez, and next we have Koth, next we have Kla, next we have Kurla, and last but not least we have Gokon. So these officers are really good for critical hit chance and damage. Okay, so next we're going to look at officers who deal a lot with hull and shield health. So first of all we have Uhura, which is common, the common Uhura. Just take a look in more detail. Next we have Common Scotty. Let's just take a look here. Then we have Ivanov. Next we have Uncommon Scotty. And of course we have Rare Spock. Okay, let's take a look at the Mayflower, the USS Mayflower, which is an Explorer class starship. So the Mayflower, just like the USS Enterprise, has two normal energy weapons, accompanied by a big phaser bank that shoots 2 shots every 2 rounds. So keep this in mind, it shoots 2 shots every 2 rounds. The Mayflower has a higher than average shield health, which means that it takes longer for opponents to finally reach the point where all the damage really does go to your hull. So it has excellent shields. So you can use this to your advantage with officers that increase shield health and officers that really utilize energy weapons. So let's just take a look in more detail. So this is Explorer class, remember? So it does 30% more damage against Klingon ships. However, it is weak against the Legionary, which is a Romulan ship, and of course it's weak against battleships. So let's just take a look at the officers in more detail for the Mayflower. So we have hull and shield health officers. So the first off the pick is Uhura Common. Next we have Common Scotty. Next we have Ivanov. Next we have Uncommon Scotty. And last but not least we have Rare Spock. Alright, let's just take a look at some of the energy weapon officers right here. So there's not too many, but we have Akira and we have Rokur. So these are both great officers to have potentially on the Mayflower. Okay, so that's pretty much it. If I have missed any officers which could be good on these ships, please let me know in the comments below. And let's keep the conversation going. What do you think of these ships? Are you going to get these ships? What does it take to get them? I'm pretty sure it takes a lot to get some of these ships, but I'm kind of liking these new ships. I don't know a lot about them, but yeah, if you have any more details, please leave them in the comments below. And alright, that's it for now. Alright, thanks guys.